All right, before we get started, I want to thank our Twitch audience for suggesting this game.
They got to enjoy ruining your life because they got to watch it.
Yep.
They didn't get to see my misery. Haha, suck it, nerds.
Fuck you guys. Welcome back to the Bad Gamecast. This is Jake.
This is Jason.
And this time we played Elex. Just keep going. Jason, before we get into it, what did Elex stand for again?
Just because I was on the Wikipedia page and it was just really, I was like, I gotta double check some of the facts on this thing. And then it says Elex, and then in parentheses, it has eclectic, lavish, exhilarating, xenial. Like, that's what it's supposed to stand for? What?
Which is lies. It's stupid and it's wrong, and I hate it. I hate all of it.
Yeah, it's real dumb. And like the rest of this game, is real dumb.
Yep, it's stupid and it's lies, and I hate it. So, released October 2017, developed by Piranha Bytes. Fuck those people. Published by THQ Nordic. Fuck them as well. Other games that released in 2017 we covered in Road Rage, Destiny 2, and Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, and Sonic Forces. I forgot about that one. Just because, we did that this year, so when it came out in 2017 seems weird.
And I never think of Sonic games. So,
bingo.
Elex. We are gonna talk about stuff, and it's gonna be word vomit and complaining. And that's about the end of it. So Elex is the story of
Commander Jax.
I was not gonna go there.
Wardrek.
What is the fucking planet called?
Is it not Earth?
No.
Earth.
Magalan.
I thought that was, you know what? Whatever. Sure.
Yeah, it's Earth-like, but it's not actually Earth, as far as I can tell.
I thought it was in that it used to be, but now they call it something different. And I was under the impression that Magalan was the continent for no reason whatsoever.
Maybe, I don't know. It's dumb. Anyway, planet hit with big ol' space rock.
Boom.
Bam. Apocalypse, like would happen if you hit the Earth with a big ol' space rock.
You mean habitable planets don't take well to giant space rocks, crashing into the surface?
Not so much, no. Unfortunately, I guess. Unfortunately, this rock also had a bunch of Elex on it. What is Elex? It's unexplainable. Seriously, they never bother to explain what. It's a crystalline structure.
Yeah, I thought it was a radioactive space rock that came out of the bigger space rock that hit the planet, and now it grows.
That it's this crystal that has energy properties, but yeah, it grows out of normal rocks.
And you can eat it and get gains.
And if you eat it, you get gains. And the initial wave of Elex caused a bunch of people to mutate and turn into monsters.
Yeah, it's also super radioactive.
Yeah.
Can't stress that enough.
And then when shit kind of calmed down a little bit, the people that survived, don't know how they survived, but the people that survived broke into 4 factions. The Berserkers, the Outlaws, the Clerics, and the Albs.
The Albs split off from the Clerics.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure it wasn't the other way around?
Yes.
The Albs and the Clerics are all tech people. They think Elex is a power source to fuel the revolution of mankind.
Yes, they use it to evolve and better themselves.
Yeah, the Outlaws are outlaws. I still have issues with a group of people calling themselves outlaws. What are we going to be? We're going to be the Outlaws.
A moniker you can be proud of, but then have nothing to do with what you call yourselves.
Yeah, and then the Berserkers.
Like the Berserkers!
Are, nature-loving druids. Yeah, that's not a joke. The Berserkers are all about
peace, love, and fuck your technology.
The badness of technology and Elex are ruining the world, so we need to get rid of technology, get rid of Elex, and love plants. They suck, but it's fine. You're forced to stick around them for a couple hours.
Yep. Oh my god, yeah.
The story follows Commander Jax.
Jax.
And Jax is jacked on that Elex.
That good Elex.
He is an Alb commander. the best commander. Seriously, you learn throughout the game that you're basically a superstar alb.
Yeah, you're like the fucking Terminator.
You're the alb to end all albs. Like, every alb should aspire to be Jax. And then you get betrayed!
Bum, bum, bum.
On your way to go, I guess, kill Thoramir?
Yes, you're on your way to hunt down Torvald.
Yeah.
Ragnarok? What the fuck is that guy's name?
Thoramir.
Yeah, Boromir or whatever.
Yep, Steward of Gondor. And you get shot out of the sky, and your plane crashes, and you get out because plane crashes don't hurt you, motherfucker. And then your brother, Calyx, is there, and Calyx is like, time to die. And he shoots you off a cliff.
Oh no.
And then you're dead. But wait, you're not dead, because you're Jax. The best.
Gravity can't kill Jax.
Some scavenger steals all your armor, and you have no more Elex to drink. So you're in some sweet, sweet withdrawal, and you wake up, and then the game starts.
Yeah, how much time passes between the crashing, you lying broken next to a cliff, and then you come to with murdery Jim Bob coming to your rescue?
Like a day?
That's not a lot of time for withdrawals.
I don't know. Elex is super potent, I guess.
Okay.
To be fair, they never actually addressed like you having withdrawal.
No,
Like,
they don't.
You never actually saw any kind of withdrawal symptoms.
What I mean is because you run into other albs later on that are like flummoxed that you gave up the sauce. But like if it takes like less than a day to get the fuck over it, I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah, it's kind of weird where they talk about the effects of withdrawal and like it completely fatiguing you and making you have the shivers and stuff. And that never happens.
Which is like good, because if that was represented in the gameplay such as it is now, like that would be fucking unplayable.
Yeah. So you make your way like down a cliff. Like there's an elevator, you get through the starting area. And when you get to the bottom, you see a guy. And if you're Jake, you try to attack him.
Yeah.
And if you're me, you just kind of mosey on up to this dude.
And fuck that guy.
Either way, it plays a cutscene instead. Like, you could shoot all of your arrows at him. It wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
This game has decided this is what you're doing. It's a cutscene. You try to sneak up on him. He punches you and knocks you out. You come to an unspecified amount of time later. He reveals his name is Durus. Durus is with the Berserkers. He was out here because there was an alb crash, and he was trying to make sure to kill all albs that, like, might have survived the crash, which is you.
But he doesn't know that yet.
No. And I don't know if you can tell him that here.
They're like, I suppose potentially ever if you never tell anyone that you're an alb.
True.
Not that half the fucking continent doesn't know who you are anyway.
Yeah, or care?
Yep.
Yeah.
Conversations for another time. Please continue.
He is like, he teaches you to...
Love again?
Yeah, all about the Berserkers and how they're trying to restore Magalan and that nature is the true way and he is there to round up people who need shelter and food and get them to come back to the Berserkers and work for them.
Come be a Berserker.
Yeah, he's a recruiting agent. But he specializes in recruiting people who are dead or dying and need the protection. Hey, you're hiding from a bunch of ghouls? Come to the Berserkers. I mean, it's a pretty good pitch.
I mean, he specializes in getting people who literally have no other choice.
Yes.
I mean, at least he gives them the option.
Die, join the Berserkers.
Yeah.
Because he gives you that option. He's like, you don't have to come inside. You can just leave. Which, by the way, if you do, like Jake tried, you'll just die a bunch.
Yeah, you get the option, but you don't.
Everything kills you.
The game.
So you travel back, and this game wants to have a ton of options. So like it says, you can go wherever you want at any time. It's just that everything kills you in one hit immediately.
Yeah, you can. You just can't run into any enemies. Or like most locations you can't get into, Other than that, you're great.
Yeah. So if you hang around for the Berserkers, like most people I'm guessing who play this game end up doing, is you spend the first couple of hours in the Berserker village of, I already forgot its name.
I didn't know its name ever.
Yeah. So what you do here is you talk to people and they give you quests, to earn your stay. And their quests are to talk to more people. Thus begins the trend of this game. I do not think I have played another game that I would describe nearly as much as a talking simulator as this game.
No, I don't think that's. I want to say it's not the case. It also isn't inaccurate. God, there's a lot of talking. And, like, sometimes you get fetch quests, but it's mostly rushing nesting dolls of quests that it's just talk to more fucking people.
Yeah. So, like, for the Berserkers, some of the first quests I completed were this. You talk to a woman, she needs supplies because the supply runs are getting interrupted. You go talk to the guy who runs the supply runs. He says, I'm not sending any more men because my last group of dudes got killed by a troll. You go back to her and tell her, hey, he's not sending any more men. She's like, well, we still need supplies, so go talk to one of the other two faction leaders. You go talk to one of the other two. I went and talked to Hammer Bro. Hammer Bro says, hey, I'd love to help, but I need a piece of technology that'll help my guys succeed, even though here in the Berserkers we don't use technology, wink wink, unless we use technology. Seriously? They break that law every 5 seconds.
Fast and loose, yep.
You can go get this piece of technology for him. It's in the pit where they discard all bad technology. The pit is just inside the Berserker walls, and you have jetpack. So you literally just walk over to it, jetpack your way in, grab the thing, jetpack back to him, say, hey, I got you your thing. He says, great, I'll send a troop out. Then you go back to her and tell her, hey, he's sending a troop out. Quest complete, get experience.
Or you can do what I did and jump in from the top, pick up everything that's in there because no one was seeing me, so I was jacking all this shit, and didn't trigger the cutscene that I wasn't supposed to be in there until I was going to leave. And guy's like, hey, you're not supposed to be in the pit. And I'm like, guess I'll leave then. And he's like, yeah, get going. Sweet. Got it in one.
Yeah, there's no punishment.
Didn't even know he needed that item till he's like, yeah, I just need the thing, the fucking motion sensor. And I'm like, do you mean this one? And he's like, sweet, no questions asked. We're good to go. Fuck yeah, buddy.
Yeah, and then when you're above the pit, you can meet a guy who's like, hey, there's an outlaw outside of town. I need you to go kill him. And then I jetpacked over the cliff outside of town, talked to the outlaw. The outlaw was like, dude, that guy is supposed to be selling me technology from the pit, and he stopped paying me. That guy's a snake. So then I went back up and was like, you're a snake. And he's like, whoa, maybe I should keep selling to him. How can you convince me? And I was like, I'm not giving you any money, and my charisma isn't high enough to convince you. So I'm just going to end the conversation. And I'm going to go back to this other guy and just tell him that you're selling technology from the pit and get you killed. Another quest completed. All I had to do was talk to 4 people.
Hey.
That's the game. Like, and to be fair, if you talk to everyone, like, through all their, like, different conversation bits, those first 2 quests that I just said that you can do basically without any enemies or running into anything, will probably take you at least an hour.
Yeah, as you struggle to figure out where it is you're supposed to go and who you're supposed to talk to.
And the fact that people have, like, 30 different lines of dialogue.
And everyone talks so goddamn much.
Yeah, and there's no way you can actually pass the charisma checks until you're, like, at least level 5.
Assuming you dumped all your points into charisma, and then you had old girl to train you on charisma.
Yeah, which means you need to put stat points into intelligence and charisma, but yeah. Yeah. Then you keep doing work. You realize that you can join one of the 3 factions. As you level up, eventually you might head out of Berserker Town and realize, yes, there are 3 factions. There are the Berserkers, the Clerics, and the Outlaws. You have to join one of them. And when I say you have to, I mean you have to join one of them.
The game will not progress at a certain point until you've joined one of them.
Yep. So unless you're playing on PC, in which case you can kind of hack things if you want, you can't beat the game without joining a faction. Cool. Pick your faction. They all require you to do the same thing. If you talk to Ragnar of the Berserkers, he basically judges you for all the quests you've done for the Berserkers. Have you done enough positive quests for the Berserkers? Which mostly is like find technology, destroy technology, this and that. The Clerics are the people you joined.
Yeah, I joined the Clerics, which were, by the time you can finally fucking get into the Hort or whatever dumb shit it's called. Hort. You go and talk to a guy who's like, hey, if you want to join us, that's cool and all, but like there's some people traveling around. You need to talk to them. I don't do the recruiting. Get out of my face. So you eventually find this dude wandering around, and he asks you some like questions, and if you answer it correctly, he drugs you and drags you off to the Horde.
That's hilarious.
That is what happens. No matter where you are, you wake up there.
Oh my god, really?
And he's like, you ready to be a cleric? cleric now? And I'm like, that's kind of fucked up, but yeah, I guess let's do this.
I mean, the fact that they drug and mind control people at will.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're kind of all about that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what Mecha Sky Jesus wants.
All glory to Kalan.
All glory to Kalan, the great eye in the sky, or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it's another quest of theirs you have to do to rise up through the ranks, where you have to go, quote unquote, convince people to join. You can actually get them all to join of their own free will, or because you learn the power of suggestion, you can give them the old Jedi mind trick and be like, you're fucking joining. And they're like, that sounds amazing. You're goddamn right it does. It's the chance of a lifetime. You're welcome. See ya.
And I joined the Outlaws, who are the people in the deserts of Tavar, and they're bad guys. I have ended their character development at all. Someone said in the achievement section of the game that you can check, because there's a one for joining the Berserkers, the Clerics, and the Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
The Outlaws are by far the lowest, and I get it because the Outlaws suck at every turn.
Do you know why I joined the clerics?
Because you wanted guns.
Because I wanted guns, and they have big fucking robots. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, Berserkers by far are the number one faction, and I get why. Is because they set you up to join the Berserkers.
Yes.
And the Berserkers are miserable, snotty people, and they all deserve to die.
Yep.
Not at the hands of the Clerics, because the Clerics also deserve to die. So do the Outlaws.
They suck too.
They should just bomb the world. We need Meteor Part 2.
Can I interest you in a nuke instead?
Sure.
Hey!
So, yeah, the Outlaws are literally a city, a fort. It is the fort, which, God, I love that. That it's the fort and the hort.
Yep.
Naming conventions.
Look, names is hard, man.
Names is hard. The fort is ruled by the Duke.
Fuck the Duke.
And the Duke is unkillable and has a bunch of guards. And so if you want to join the Outlaws, you have to do what the Duke says, which is a bunch of quests for all his underlings, just like the other factions. You know, for being outlaws, they're not very outlaw friendly.
What do you want him to do? Go rob a fucking stagecoach?
Yes.
There are no stagecoaches.
Okay, let's go rob the Berserkers.
Yes. I'd have been more in on that. I don't know. See, because I was already a highest level cleric that I could be. I was a paladin. Check out my sweet flowing loins. I didn't get the option. I was just like, hey, go help fucking Bondmaker or I'll shoot you. And I'm like, I just spent the last half hour trying to murder you and all your goons. I don't think you can, but okay.
Yeah, no, so the recruitment process is you have to help Mad Bob. Mad Bob, you need some scrap delivered, and then you need to kill a gambler for Mad Bob.
I'm sure.
Great. And then you have to beat up some people in the arena, because there's an arena in the fort to prove your strength. And then you have to figure out why the leader of the entertainment district hasn't paid her taxes to the Duke.
Is it because she's a bitch?
It's because they're an outlaw society and they have fucking taxes.
Yeah. So yes, it's because she's a bitch.
No, it's because she doesn't have any money because the other guy's blackmailing her.
Oh. How mundane.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that whole quest is 17 hours too long. Yeah. Because you go to her and she's like, it tells you something about she can't pay. And then I don't know if you have to go the route with Rat, but I ended up doing it, which was unfortunate because, Rat's not bad, but I hated him. And he's a character. He asks you for money when you first show up. And I gave it to him because I was like, I don't care.
Is that the guy in the dome?
No.
Okay.
But then Rat, he's got a plan, and his plan fails multiple times, until you realize that his plan is actually for him to overthrow one of the other, higher-ups and take their place. Which he does, and then everything goes smoothly for you, because now you've got a friend in a position of power. But it doesn't let you do that, even though, you could easily kill everyone forever. You're not allowed to have a position of power.
No.
Because reasons.
Commander Jax is unfettered.
And that's kind of, then you go to chapter 2. You're going to have to take the actual reins here. You go to chapter 2 by talking to the one old dude after joining a faction.
Old dude?
Everyone's old. I don't know. Is the dude you talk to? And then, you start doing work for him.
The Alb guy?
Yeah, the mutant controlling fucking nerd.
Oh, yeah. yeah, he wants you to go do shit like find the Alb Separatists and reconnect with your brother or some dumb shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. Let me open up the old lap book and tell you what my notes say about the story.
Because he triggers chapter 2.
My notes say, fuck this game, I don't care.
Yeah. And it's more just that. He's like, find the Alb Separatists, who suck.
Yeah, they're shitty. They're shitty to you because they know who you are, and they're shitty to everybody else because they're Albs and everybody wants them dead.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Some sort of sense. I don't know why they're shitty towards you when, like, you show up in not Alb armor.
You're a traitor. Sure, your shit got shot down, and you were a king zealot of the fucking hybrids army. You might snap and kill them because you're there secretly for the hybrid, I believe is their reasoning.
Which, like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you notice how you guys are all blue because all the Elex are chugging and I have a normal skin tone because I'm off of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because by the time I found them, I was literally rocking an axe, wearing, like, base berserker armor, and they were like, you might be out here to trick us. And I'm like, have you talked to the berserkers at all? Or anyone else that I've been helping? Like, if this is the long con, it's a long fucking con, my dude. I just spent a week helping berserkers talk about their fucking plant hearts, and I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I think by the time I got to them, I was handing out flyers for cyber mecha Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I had already joined the clerics and then said as much, and they're like, well, we still don't trust you. Which I have to say, as far as character choices, made the most sense to me for the other factions. I didn't get to the outlaws till much later, and fuck them. But it made sense to me that Commander Jax, who was a massive zealot and would do anything for the hybrid, would find a group that essentially gives him that same structure.
I mean, I get that, but it's also this weird kind of thing where, like, you wanting to do anything for the hybrid wasn't really your choice.
No.
They make it pretty clear that, like, the hybrid and the Elex are basically, like, mind control.
Yeah, and of, like, you and your brother, you questioned every order. I mean, you went out and did it wholeheartedly anyway, but you still, you questioned it back at base.
Yeah.
Which is a, like, weird distinction. You can't have both. Like, you can't lay the groundwork for, like, free will and thought and then completely dust that away and, you just did it anyway. Well, then what was the fucking point of bringing it up?
To show that you were already on the verge of having ideas.
You were different.
Yeah, you were special.
You were bald. Or in my case, you wore sick-ass sunglasses the whole time.
Yeah.
Sunglasses.
Because by this point, I had already broken into the final boss area. And so I was already in full Alb armor, which made things funny when you meet the, like, Alb mutant controlling dude. And he's like, what are your purposes here? And I'm like, yes, I have joined the Outlaws, as I'm just decked out in full Alb armor. Beep boop. I'm helping the free people.
Okay, I would love to take the reins and go through the story in a more granular level. And anybody that was watching the Twitch stream knows I hit a certain point, hour 20 plus, when it was just constant mission that would spawn 4 more missions after mission that would spawn 4 more missions, where I could take no more. I was done. It hit chapter 4. Someone in the Twitch chat said, wait till he hits chapter 6. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't think they were. I think they were.
I
don't know. I don't fucking know. And I don't intend to find out because I hated it. Let's fast forward a bit. So you pick a faction, you stop the cleric city from getting nuked from one of the Duke's boys. At some point you run into his sister Nasty, who's the best character in the game, and it's a shame that you don't start with her. Like, she's not the one that found you. It would be a much better game. It would be enjoyable. You tootle on down to Berserker Town, past the Valley of the Damned, or who gives a shit, to find the pilgrim Torvald, who you were sent to kill initially, who's like, our plan is to stop the hybrid, the one that's in charge of the Albs, what's mind controlling all the people. And your guy's like, well, how the fuck do you plan on doing that? And he's like, well, you know how we take the Elex and we turn it into mana that powers our magics, because reasons it's a thing they do. We're going to turn all of the Elex on the planet into mana at one time. And the hybrid just wants the Elex to make himself stronger. So if we do that, then he's essentially powerless, and it might poison and kill him. We don't know, but we should get to work on that. But I don't trust you yet, even though I just talked to you about this shit for 20 minutes. So I need you to go do some dumb shit for me. And you're like, great, that'll be fun. So you run off and you do dumb shit endlessly. Eventually you find your way to the town of origin, where it's just a town full of people that want you to do dumb shit. Like, there's a mechanic who you can get to go get your ship. You need to go do some shit for more separatists. There's the one alb guy living like a hermit who's secretly still working with the hybrid, but oh no, the surprise twist later that you saw coming. You talk to your dad for some fun family times before you learn that he'd fucked you over. It does get revealed through the story that you and your brother, Kellogg, what's his name? Calyx, that's the one.
Kellogg's.
The
The fresh maker.
stolen as children from a little fishing village.
Yeah, you were berserker, like aligned that villages, I believe.
Yeah.
And you were stolen away from there.
Yep, and then you're like, well, why'd you do it? And he's like, 'cause I can't have kids, but I wanted progeny. And, you know, it's the alb way to just take shit, so that's what I did. And you guys are the fucking best albs. I'm so proud of you. That really doesn't make it better, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, your dad's like ultra shitty.
Yeah, he fucking sucks. And I can't stress this enough. Early on in the game, the Twitch chat led me to some items that are out in the world, and I didn't get them particularly early, but some shit like the necklace you need to pickpocket, or the sunglasses that showed enemies on the map, and this, like, that itself is fucking stupid. It's okay, but it's a skill you can pick up, so you don't need it. What is important is for this entire game, I had these big red, like, Matrix-looking sunglasses on that stole all emotion out of Jax's face.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he couldn't emote because you couldn't see his eyes with these big fucking sunglasses that I refused to take off because it was hilarious. Also, the cleric's color scheme is black and red like the sunglasses, so the whole thing matched. Oh, it was perfect.
Honestly, without the glasses, you still don't get much emotion from Jax.
I believe that. I mean,
like, the face doesn't really move all that much.
You can only render so much, but because, like, I had, like, you know, a good portion of his face hidden, I had no idea, and I wasn't taking off the sunglasses to find out. Sure, I could have worn a helmet and got more armor, which might have helped. It wouldn't have because you're squishy as fuck, but the sunglasses were funny, and it kept me playing the game. Anyway, you run more side quests. At a certain point, I had to go talk to the albs, and I was done with the talking. Any person I was talking to that wasn't part of the main plot, I was skipping through the dialogue because I didn't care, which isn't something I often do, but this game, man, hit enough of my buttons I could take no more. I was talking to one of the alb separatists, and they're like, well, what do you plan on doing with the hybrid? Because this dude's all up in your shit and your fucking plans. You have to tell him because Jax feels like spilling his fucking beans to everybody. And the options are like kill the hybrid, work with the hybrid, or submit to the hybrid's will, essentially. That's what it breaks down to. Now, up until this point, like I said, you feel squishy. Combat sucks because you don't hit that hard and you're basically one shot by everything. Doesn't matter what your armor is, go fuck yourself. There's a little exploit you can do, and it's not really an exploit because it's in the game.
Well,
how we got about it is totally an exploit. However, just crafting Elex potions itself isn't an exploit.
Crafting Elex potions is part of the game. There's a small Elex potion which gives you experience, a medium Elex potion which gives you stat points, and there's a large Elex potion which gives you skill points. We'll get into all that later.
So, what I thought was funny is this whole time people are talking about Elex withdrawals and blah, 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 blah. And in any spare time, and I did this on stream, and I spent a good couple hours doing this off camera too, I was crafting Elex potions and just power leveling like a motherfucker. And you have to for stat points, otherwise you can't fucking unlock anything, because that's fun. And, like, you can't kill anything, so it's real difficult to gain experience or just wander about in the world when everything fucking one-shots you. So because I had been chugging all these Elex potions, there is a cold/emotional meter. I don't know, you're more human if you're emotional, and you're more alb-like if you're cold. Now, when you drink Elex potions, it makes your cold increase. Because I had been quaffing these bitches, I was pretty fucking cold. And if I talked to my companions, most of them would be like, it's like talking to a robot, or whatever dumb shit they say. And so, the option that I wanted to tell these alb separatists was I wanted to kill the hybrid, but I couldn't. I couldn't because my cold level was too high. I couldn't pick the cold option because my cold level was too high.
No, killing it is not the cold option because reasons? I don't know. The cold emotion meter felt insane to me. I don't know how often you would have, like, you would say something to someone and, like, you'd have an option that you were like, that's gonna give me more cold. Because it would be like, the option would be, fuck off and die, you scumbag. And you'd click on it and Jax would be like, fuck off and die. And you're like, that was close. I mean, I didn't get to call him a scumbag, but it was close. And it was like, cold decreased. And I'm like,
Yeah, because it was emotional,
What?
obviously.
What?
So, okay, the conversation that unfolded with the Alb Separatists after that, because it made me pick the maybe we should hear him out option, right?
Yeah.
Isn't like it had the same thing that Fallout 4 has, where it gives you a snippet of kind of what they mean maybe, and then what they actually say is sometimes way off base, which is what happened here. I had apparently offended him and his family, and in my thought, maybe we should hear what he has to say, turned into we should absolutely follow the hybrid. That is not what I fucking wanted.
Yeah, that happens enough that like what the option they give you to say isn't what you're going to say. And it definitely isn't going to be your follow-up, because sometimes you'll have an option and then you'll have a back and forth for a while.
Yup.
And it just goes places that you're like, I was not trying to say that,
Which
but
is-
sure.
Which is what happened here, and what ultimately fucking broke me. Like, that is not at all close to what I had said, nor what I wanted. The option that I wanted was gated behind a meter that was too high, and it's the cold option. Because
No, it's emotional, because your emotions want you to kill.
No, it was logical. We end the problem. My cold was too high. I couldn't increase it more. It had capped, so I could only pick the neutral or emotional response to decrease my cold. What the fuck kind of system is that? Which is a whole separate conversation we haven't had yet about the god-awful systems in this fucking game. Jason, please go on.
Yeah, so then Jake was broken, and I basically just hacked my way through the end of the game and didn't even bother to sit through any of the story. I literally just mashed the skip button. So this game's story might be mildly okay. I wouldn't know because I can't stand it. I can't stand so many of the decisions that went into this game that I would ever want to play it. So we're going to start with anything, and we're just going to keep complaining for a long time because there's so much to say. And I'm going to start out with you have to pick a faction. I hated all the factions. I didn't want to join any of them immediately. The Berserkers, literally, they scold you every time you, like, open up your Pip-Boy. By the way, you have this thing embedded in your arm that you pull up, and it gives you a view screen that covers your stats, skills, inventory, and quick map and quests. It's a fucking Pip-Boy.
It's a Pip-Boy.
And they scold you every time you open it. They scold you every time you use your jetpack. And they generally suck because while they do that, just about half of the Berserkers you can talk to, because you can't talk to everyone. Anyone who has a generic title, just like worker, they don't actually have anything to say.
Yeah.
About half the people you can talk to use technology.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are the Berserkers even about?
Being hypocrites.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of hypocritical pieces of shit that try to shun you the whole time and call you an outsider, and I'm supposed to want to join these people? Fuck them.
Yep.
I go to the clerics, it's all fucking giddy up to Kalan, and
Yeah. Come on down and praise Mecha Cyber Jesus. Good times can be had, and if you don't do it don't do it by your own free will, we will make you.
yeah, you know, I have a hard time joining up with the literal drugging and mind warping people.
Yep.
Hey, free will? We don't do that here. So I went to the fucking Outlaws, and I thought, maybe the Outlaws will be different. They're not. My God, the Outlaws aren't Outlaws. Like, I showed up, and I was expecting, I don't know, maybe I fight my way to the top. Maybe I can fight my way to the top. That'd be fun. And it's just like, no. The Duke is in control of everything, and you will do whatever the Duke says, and he needs you to collect his taxes and put down a potential uprising. Oh my God.
I don't suppose you have the option to, join the uprising?
Nope.
Of course not.
If you want to join the Outlaws, you have to collect his taxes and put down the uprising.
So, the first time I ran into the Duke, and this happened on stream, I played the whole thing on stream, except for that grindy bit I did off because it was boring as hell to watch. It was boring to play, too. Good times. The first thing he opens his mouth, he's like, the fuck do you want? I'm like, I'm gonna kill this guy. And I proceed to murder his guards, and then shoot him down because I had this OP-ass gun at this point. Only when he drops, he goes to stunned. He doesn't die because the game won't let you kill him.
Yep.
Fuck, why?
The game will not let you kill major characters.
They could be important to the plot, and it isn't like there's any way that the plot might work without being there.
So, yeah, and you say the Duke, insults you if you talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he does. And that's it. So I can work for the Duke, who sucks and is just this same hierarchical goddamn structure. The Berserkers, who are hypocrites and also suck, or the Clerics, who are mind-controlling Jesus Jesus lovers. I don't want to join any of them. So I tried to just like not. You can't. You cannot be on your own. I hate that. I hate everything about that. That's dumb as hell.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not even like you can join the minor groups. Like, you can get to Origin and renovate Origin, right? And it's this weird little town, and once you renovate it, everyone in there, you're their leader.
Yeah, the former leader thinks that you're the Messiah, and he was just waiting to hand the town over to you.
Basically, he had a vision that someone would show up and would get like Union ready and bound together and fight off the Albs, and he thinks you're that person. And when you do everyone's quest, he's like, I was right, here's the keys to the city. Great. But you can't, like, as a solo person, use Origin as a base of operations to attack the Albs. It's not allowed. You can go to the Separatists. You can't join the Separatists. You can get them on your side so that they'll say, oh, when you decide to move against the Albs, we'll help you, depending on which of the other 3 factions you join. But you can't actually, like, join the Separatists, despite the fact that you're a former Alb who is now fighting against the Albs, which is what the Separatists are.
Which you would think of all the factions, that's the one that you would fit into the best.
Yeah.
With all of your former people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what if instead you never got the option to?
That's cool too. Yeah, I like that option. It's really fun and engaging. And it's interesting in a game where they try to tell you that you have as many options as you want and you can affect the story in so many ways and it'll be really interesting, that they give you, 3 options, and if you don't pick one, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, yeah, they have so many options in that it ultimately comes down to a binary choice, and the decisions you make doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Choices. So,
and, all the things are just little checks. Like, did you do this quest? If so, that is checkmarked.
Yep.
That's it.
If yes, go to next quest. If no, wait till the quest is completed. So as you're wandering around, and you're squishy as all hell, and you struggle to get new weapons and armor that are all gated behind intelligence, dexterity, or strength checks. In order to get the best equipment, you need to join a faction, because as you join a faction, you move up through the ranks, you get access to better and better stuff. Any better stuff than they will initially sell you. And I say better, and that's like, so for the clerics, the gun that I had access to finally, after I could finally join the clerics, buy a gun, and my stats were finally fucking high enough to use it, sucked. The shooting sucks. You can't like move and shoot. You have to aim and then like hold still, because if you move, you put your gun away, and that's not great. Otherwise, your options are like range, because you have melee, your swords, your axes, your hammers, which once you start, the animation doesn't stop until the animation's over. So sometimes there's something like just to the left and you swing just to its right, and then you end up like 8 feet back because you had to keep the swing, or like you had to keep the animation going. Or like the gun, where it's weird to aim and it bounces way too much, and it bounces less depending on the fire mode. So like single shot, the laser rifle I was using had single shot, 3-round burst, and full auto. The recoil on the 3-round burst was almost straight up, and kind of severe, but enough that you could pull the stick down to like try and negate it some. The single shot would bounce, but it would return to center fairly quickly. Fully automatic was a shit show. It went wherever it felt like, mostly up, but also to either side.
Yeah, chaos.
Yeah, which is fine. Not initially, because the one that you start with does so little damage that you might as well be throwing tickles and kisses. In fact, depending on where you're at, you can't really hurt enemies so much as get one shot from them. So it's not really a fight so much as it's a slaughter, and you're just waiting to die. Yeah, and that's because, and I will say that I was in a part of the game that I shouldn't have been at the level that I was at, because technically I should have worked my way through it instead of running like hell from where I was to up there.
Which is weird, because, they tell you at the beginning you're gonna have to join one of these 3 factions, but then they make it really hard to join one of the other 2, which I think is part of why people don't, is that they dump you into the Berserker's arms and give you like 20 quests to start out with the Berserkers.
So that was an issue that I had as I was playing, and the Twitch chat had said, like, because I was worried that I would accidentally join the Berserkers if I was just doing quests for them. And they're like, no, when you go to join, like, they make it super clear that you were joining it, which they did for the clerics. I assume they did for the outlaws as well.
Yeah, mostly. It's like, once you do the right things and you click, I would like to join the outlaws, And then it's like, the decision you have made will have far-reaching consequences.
Yeah, but it's like it asks you like twice, hey, are you sure? Like, because this is what you're doing now. Like, yeah, I fucking guess. And then they made me mind control and kidnap some people, which was not as cool. Wasn't worth it for the gun that I got.
Yeah. Which, we're going to talk about that real quick, because you put all your points in to use that gun, and all the stat points that don't matter.
Oh my god.
And it's really fun when you have stats, right? And you put points into the stats, and they have no gameplay ramifications other than the items you can use and the skills you can learn, even though the stat descriptions say that they probably should do something. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The skills you can learn is an interesting one.
So, like, if you go over strength, it says strength is the measure of your physical ability, and if you have more strength, you'll do more damage. That's not true. Strength doesn't matter in your melee damage at all. It is a non-factor. Your damage is solely based on your skills and your weapon.
Yeah, so your skill points in strength being from the base 10 to the top max at 100, you do the same amount of damage.
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
If you were using the same weapon, you would be doing the same damage.
You know, like a strength stat.
Yeah, the stats are made up and they don't matter.
Yep. Instead, you need the points to be at a certain amount to use certain equipment. Like a lot of the melee weapons require a higher strength. And so do some of the higher end ranged weapons, too, I believe.
Yeah.
As well as armor, because I guess armor's heavy. You got to be able to carry it. Although, since the strength doesn't matter, don't know why you wouldn't just put it on and go for it. Or the skills, man, it has an interesting skill tree in that you can't just dump points, the skill points that you have, into a spot on your menu. You have to find somebody to train you in those skills.
Yes.
Which means, depending on what you want to learn, you might not have access to that person.
I mean, kinda.
So, I didn't realize how many people can train you in each area. And, like, to the game's credit, you're not lacking for people that can train you and stuff. You just have to seek them out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't have to. So, like, Berserker Village.
Yeah, 'cause there's a trainer for every single person in Berserker Village.
Yeah, I knew romance option. What's her fuck?
Yeah. She'll teach you charisma.
Sidna.
Yeah.
Can teach you shit. And then illegal stuff fence.
Black market.
Black market guy will teach you some shit,
It'll teach you the dex skills.
which I never once used and ran into like once.
Yeah.
So glad I didn't waste any points there. And then that's it. Like I didn't know anybody else that would teach you stuff, which is fine. Whatever. I didn't care because.
Hammer Broseph will teach you combat skills.
Oh, will he?
Yeah. And then the dude who's racist against Albs will teach you defense skills.
I don't only ever talked to that guy once, and he was sleeping, and I went to his house, and he was not pleased that I was there.
It happens.
Yeah, like that checks out.
It's true. But, if he didn't want you in his house, he should have had a door.
He should have had a door.
There are no doors in the entire Berserker Village. They don't believe in doors.
No, man, doors are technology.
Yeah.
So are fucking walls, you pieces of shit.
Sleep in a cave like a real man. Yeah, I hate the whole stat points and like skill points. And then again, so to learn your skills, you need the proper level of stat points, money, and a skill point. You get one skill point every level. I don't think I managed to learn a skill until like level 5.
I was later than them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to use my points on something that wasn't important. Which is stupid and on me, because you end up with a lot of points. It's not an issue.
You end up with a lot of points when you cheat.
Well, true. But also because you don't know what skills you need to dump attribute points into to unlock stuff. So you end up with a lot of extra shit. If you're like me and you're dumping stuff into stuff that you think might be necessary, because you don't fully grasp how that system works yet, because it's stupid and bad, and you think of better games that make better use of that.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of wasting a lot of points and stuff. Because you think if I dump into Constitution, surely my health will go up. No.
No, neither your health or the like damage you take change.
Or like, surely if I dump points into Intelligence, I'll have like better speech checks. No, it doesn't matter. It's based on Charisma, which is a separate thing that someone teaches you, because that's how Charisma works.
Yes. See.
Niet.
What was I saying? What were you saying?
Something about ice cream.
I like like ice cream. Is there ice cream in Elex? No. Therefore, it's bad. No.
That's the bar we judge all things on now. Ice cream, yes or no?
Ice cream. It's so the
I don't even
skills
like ice cream.
that you put in, right? I put points into the like lock picking skill,
Sure.
which is fuck all useless. And by that I mean occasionally you will find a chest that is locked, and I mean occasionally. There are not many. Like in some games, you think lock picking might be relevant. Not this game. But then you unlock the chests, and when you do their stupid lockpicking minigame, which, by the way, is the exact same as the one in Witch Sun, where it is a side cutout of a bunch of pins, and you move your pick backwards and forward, pushing up the pins.
Why couldn't it just be a ripoff of the fucking Bethesda one like everybody else?
Right? Like, honestly, why couldn't it just be, oh, you're at 3 out of 3? Cool, the chest opens. I don't need a minigame, my dude. I've got the skill. Let's move on.
Yep.
But you play their stupid minigame, which has, like, no relevance at all. Again, like, it just pads out the length of this game if you're trying to actually lockpick. And then you open the chest, and inside is like, here's $17, and some scrap, and some bullets. And that's out of, like, a 3 out of 3 chest. There's nothing good in any of them. No chest I opened ever got me anything that I thought that might be useful. They're all trash. Literally everything I ever opened was trash. The armor I ended up using at the end of the game was the commander's armor from the Stronghold of Ice, or whatever it's called. Fortress of Solitude.
Yep.
Which you just find laying in your dad's room.
Was it your dad's armor? Is your dad running around out there naked?
I don't know.
Ugh.
Well, I assume it's your dad's room because you find a bunch of audio logs from your dad in the same room.
It could be Jax's, because even though they're all like, feelings suck, logic is the only thing that matter, your entire family dynamic is pretty fucking emotional.
Yeah, so it could have been Jax's room. And so I was wearing Alb Commander armor, and then, which you just find if you break the game. If you don't break the game, you can't get it until, like, literally the very end. Just stupid. And the axe I was using was out in the world. Now, this is important because, the axe was just, like, not in a chest. It was just laying in a cave. I just stole it and ran. There are some powerful weapons out in the world. Mm-hmm. There isn't armor. Other than the commander armor, there is no armor in the game that you can pick up that is better than, like, the starting armor. Weird choice. Intentional design choice by Piranha Bytes. Apparently it's something they do in all of their games, or almost all of their games, where they hide high-level armor behind advancements in the game. In this case, it is joining the faction to force you into doing that stuff to get better armor. You cannot loot it.
That's a bad choice. That's stupid.
Yes, that's a horrible choice. It is one of those things that, like, because of that and because the weapons aren't that good, and in fact, the best weapons are just, I mean, they are kind of laying about, but, like, it really makes me not want to explore.
Yeah, because what's the point?
Should I go into this building? I don't know. What am I going to get? A couple flares, maybe a few dollars, some scrap? Like, that's fucking useless.
Look, if it wasn't for, I believe you had mentioned it, that there were named items out in the world, I would never have known that because I wasn't going to fucking run into them. I would have eventually, there's 2 of them. At Origin, there is, the Phantom String, the, like, best bow in the game.
Yep.
And then one other one, which is in one of the Elex collectors, if you jump around and go to the, like, dome cache that's in the center.
Yeah.
There's another random named weapon in there.
Yep.
But, like, I didn't hear about it. And granted, as close attention as I was paying to some of the other shit, I know that it wasn't brought up because nobody talks about this good shit. Otherwise, people would fucking have them. Like the quote-unquote legendary flamethrower, which is in the Horde, just in someone's office. You just got to go up there and steal it.
Yep.
And it's not even like steal it because you can just take it off the wall and there's nobody around, so there is no ramifications for you taking it.
Oh, that's a fun one. Stealth in this game is non-existent.
You can crouch.
You can crouch, and people just constantly yell at you, do you think I can't see you? Which is a fun, like, little ha-ha-ha, like Bethesda, everyone knows in Skyrim you can crouch right in front of someone and you're hidden. It's not like that in this game, except I had people yell at me through walls when I was crouching. Literally, crouch in a room, no one's in the room. Do you think I can't see you? And then they come sprinting around the corner. And I'm like, huh, so crouching is like 17 times louder than standing.
Also, like I had said, you can't just pickpocket people. I had to have an item that let me do it.
Yeah.
Which let you go through someone's pocket, but it gave you literally 3 seconds to do so. Which was, just fucking take everything. What are you even doing? But that's a weird time restriction. I don't see what it matters. And it does because the game doesn't stop. right? Like if you open up your Pip-Boy, the world around you doesn't freeze. The game keeps moving.
Yeah, there's no, like, pausing to use items. Which, fine, it does make combat harder, and the combat is already so brutally unfun and hard that I don't know why it needed to be like that.
Yeah, since the game does let you pause, it isn't online only, there's no reason why it wouldn't stop. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that, is because otherwise you could pull up the Pip-Boy, chug a couple potions, and try to, grind through a fight like that.
Yeah, survive a combat encounter. That sounds terrible.
That sounds miserable. I mean, less miserable than actually trying to use the melee attacks because, as Jake mentioned, you have to, like, combo them, and so it has this, like, horrible momentum, and if the enemy takes, like, 2 steps to the side, you're no longer attacking. You're just kind of attacking the empty air, but if you're mid-combo, you don't just, like, stop. You just keep spinning, and then the enemies start hitting you, but you just keep spinning because getting hit sometimes knocks you out of your combo, and sometimes it doesn't, and so they just murder you while you're just spinning in place like a top.
Well, sometimes you are the Beyblade. Well, that's because, and I didn't talk about it, the weird combo multiplier, where, like, the more you hit something, the damage that you do multiplies on itself.
Yeah.
Which is super weird.
Yeah, so your opening attack does less damage, and then the more attacks you do, the more damage it does.
Up to, like, 4.
Yeah, it's very weird and not good. There's also a big attack, which, like, once you get over half of your meter filled, you can spend your meter to do this big special attack, which does, like, no damage, but makes you do less damage with your follow-up attack because your meter's empty. I never used it.
Yeah, I went ranged the whole time of what I played. I tried melee. Melee was not for me.
That's because it's not for anyone.
Well, then I tried ranged. Ranged was not for me.
Yeah.
But at that point, man, this is what we're doing, because at least I don't have to do melee.
Oh, you mean how people are like, yeah, if you're going to play this game, what you should do is either not fight any enemies until you're like level 30, or you should just go buy a bunch of grenades and use grenades, and then until you get the flamethrower, and then just spam grenades and flamethrower and just stun lock enemies that way. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, cool. That doesn't sound like a good game.
Have you used the flamethrower?
No.
Flamethrower fucking sucks, because it's super slow, because it's a heavy weapon. Hey, you want to have fun playing this game? Take the disc out of your PlayStation, chew it barely, and then swallow it and see how much blood you can shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have any, like, ways to say don't do that, because fuck this game.
Yeah, like, for realsies, don't do that.
I mean, yeah, don't actually hurt yourself, especially under any of our garbage nonsense that we're spewing. But yeah, it's so much about this game is like, it felt like the game had already made decisions that I didn't want to make, and it was going to force me to do them. The game decided that that combat in general was going to be bad, and it was going to try to force me not to do it as much as possible. And I was like, but I want to fight things. And the game was like, no, that's not what you're here for. You're here to talk to people, and that's it.
Let's have deep, personal, canned dialogue back and forth with inflection and intonation that doesn't really match the tone of what we're going for, but that's how they recorded it. And, booth time is expensive, so we went with it.
Yeah, voice acting is definitely not great. The sound mixing is horrendous.
Oh my god, the sound mixing is fucking awful.
It is rare in a game that I have found sound mixing this bad, because it's not the actual sounds. It's not like the music is bad. It's not good. It's there.
Yep.
But the music and sound effects is so much louder than anyone talking.
Sometimes. Or sometimes someone is talking, and as it cuts between two people, sometimes it's the old over the shoulder. Sometimes it's just a hard cut to somebody else. Person A will talk, person B will respond. Person A will talk off screen, but they will sound like they're 3 miles down a hallway. Why is that?
I don't know.
Or sometimes someone will talk, in mid-sentence it'll cut to a whisper, and then person B will be booming, and then person A will be booming, and then they'll both be whispering. And then, one or the other. Let's get weird with it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you'll talk to someone, and they will actually be, like, 7 miles down a hallway, because their character model will just, like, disappear into the distance. Or you'll be talking, and, the usual thing of, like, some other person is, like, their AI has told them to walk, and they'll just be walking into you the whole time while you're talking. Just straight robot shuffling into you.
Or sometimes the character models won't load, so it'll look like almost like a droid, but with a human face just bopping on before like the rest of their body fucking loads in. Or sometimes the ground won't actually be there. Lols.
Or you'll spawn below the ground.
Or you'll spawn below the ground on a fast travel teleport, so you don't fall through the world because that's stationary, but you can't also leave it either.
And sometimes, you'll click on a teleporter to fast travel, and the screen will go black like the game is loading, and then you'll just be on the Xbox main menu screen because the game just decided to stop working. That happened to me 4 times.
I never had it crash, but boy, I'm not sure how.
Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't save in the last hour. I just lost an hour of progress because the game crashed.
Woo!
Ah! I think we've probably talked long enough.
I don't have too much more to add to this.
Because if you can't guess, I don't recommend this game.
No, fuck this game.
In an amusing world where I enjoy Fallouts, Skyrims, lots of games that you think would be like this game, they're not. This game sucks.
Yeah, it does. I will say there is one thing that I liked about this game. Just so it's not us dropping trow and shitting all over it, which it deserves. I did like the fact that this is a post-apocalypse world, that society is rebuilt. Not everyone's like remembering the before time, and like everyone's houses are fucking hovels of what used to be, and everything's shitty and terrible. This is, for all intents and purposes, a functioning society, and that is something that happened in the past. They have all since moved on, and that I feel like is something that you don't see in media too often, because that's not where the fun story is, right? The fun story is in the fall or just after, as people are attempting to rebuild. That's where the drama and action is. Not, a few hundred years down the road when everything's fine again.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was kind of a refreshing change of pace for things. However, I am to understand that the rest of Piranha Bytes games play like this. So fuck Piranha Bytes. Fuck all the garbage they make.
Yeah, I have heard people describe this game as Gothic 2, which the Gothic series was probably their most successful series, I believe. Gothic 2 being their breakout game, and they call it Gothic 2 with guns. And Gothic 2 came out in 2005, and I get that comparison because this game feels like it should have been made in 2005.
Yeah, it does.
It feels like they took any lessons, anything that people have done or innovated in the last decade and a half, and ignored it. They're like, no, people enjoy exceedingly long talking sections that are just miserably slow and the worst combat systems you could ever think of. Yes, that's what people want.
That's certainly what I enjoy in things.
Yeah.
And, my game that I play in my off hours to be devoid of fun.
Yeah, or to be a miserable experience. And then you make it slightly better by removing the stamina cost. We didn't even talk about that.
No, we didn't.
Because attacking takes stamina. The same stamina you need to dodge attacks. And so you just, half of the time at the beginning of the game before you turn it off, because when you don't turn it off, the game's miserable. Afterwards, the game is still miserable. Don't worry. It's just different misery, because beforehand, you're spending your time watching this meter go down and then slowly go back up. But don't worry, if the enemy hits you, your meter stops going back up. Anyone who hits you cuts your stamina regen.
Oh, of course. Well, it's the same thing when you're using an item. If you're chugging a healing potion, you get hit. The healing stops when you get hit.
Yep. So, if you get hit, your stamina stops regenerating, and attacking requires stamina as well as dodging. But don't worry, monsters don't have stamina. They can just attack as often as they want. So that really helps the flow of combat to feel natural, is that you constantly have to stop both attacking and dodging to just kind of fuck off around a corner.
That reminds me, it's an interesting choice the game made when it comes to the difficulty options, because it gives you a ton of options what you can turn off, which is really neat. None of it makes the game good or playable, but it's cool that they have the options to turn the stamina thing off and other choices. I remember looking through it and being impressed by what you could turn off or flat out disable.
Oh crap, I have to say something good about the game. No, because actually you can adjust your damage, you can adjust enemy damage. I believe you can just adjust enemy health. You can adjust the stamina cost. It's not a flat, easy, medium, hard, which a lot of games do and is usually enough. They actually give you pretty granular control over a lot of things that make the game more or less difficult. Mm-hmm. That's actually good. One good thing in a sea of shit.
All right. Well, what the fuck do we do now?
Now we had to answer letters from listeners like you, and that's kind of shit. I don't have a cadence. I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
I hate this goddamn game.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, so this letter comes from, I guess I'm going to say, Anti-Aaron? Like, opposite Aaron. What's the opposite of Aaron? What's the last name? Because AA is first, so, like,
ZZ. This is America, god damn it.
ZZ Top?
Yes.
All right, so this letter's from ZZ Top.
Hey.
Guys, I would like to thank you for stopping by my stream and letting me show you the purpose of Bomberman Act Zero. So, for those who don't know, this is someone who, after our Bomberman Act Zero episode, actually went up on YouTube, which it's actually like a really old episode, contacted us and was like, hey, I actually like this game, and showed you, as he says, what it's meant to be, a speed run, and he had fun doing it.
I watched him, and this guy holds the speedrunning records for this game. Like, dude's legit.
Yeah.
And, like, I listened to him, like, talk his way through, and I was asking him stuff, about the game, and it was, like, super interesting to watch him do it.
He says our WWE 2K20 was a good episode, and he's happy he didn't buy it, which you absolutely should be. That game is a nightmare of bugs. Oh my god, it's so bad.
I still kind of liked it. Wasn't this?
What, 2021 is canceled, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's dead. Which is funny because, like, 2020, if they had canceled it, might have actually kept them with, was it Ukes?
Yes, it was, but no, Ukes was outdone, which is why, was it Visual Concepts took over?
No, if they had canceled 2020, they might have kept Ukes on.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
That was a big part of why they
left. It would have gave Ukes a little extra time to work on the engine they wanted to work on.
Yeah, and then they ended up canceling this one, and you're just, like, left wondering, maybe if they had just canceled the one that sucked, we could be in a different world right now. One where, wrestling games weren't abysmal. Haha, just kidding. Wrestling games have always been abysmal.
I mean, yeah, hopefully whatever Ukes is working on is going to be good, and I'm sure that it will be.
I'm sure it'll be better than the shit show that was 2K20.
Super low bar.
Yep. Let me just take this bar and bury it real quick.
Yep.
As for not buying, if you ever see a game show up on our, like, what we've played, don't buy it. I mean, listen to the episode. Listen to us tell you not to buy it. There's been, like, 2 exceptions.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of them that we have collectively agreed are good games.
Yeah, I think that I can think of 2 actual exceptions, and there's been a couple that are like, this game's okay, and if you like this kind of game, you'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah, I can think of a lot more of, like, with asterisk sort of games and games that were both like, fuck yeah.
So, that's the point. We're the bad game cast. We play bad games. It's a miserable experience. I don't know why we do this to ourselves. It's funny, you get to the end of a night of recording and you're just like rethinking your whole life and like, man, these last like 3 years, the fuck did I do?
Yeah. Because we did this to us.
We did. Which, isn't fair. Twitch chat, they did this to us. They know who they are.
This one, yes. This one is on Twitch chat. Those fuckers.
And his only question is, would we like to set up a world battle sometime? And I have to tell you this right here, right now. No. World battle is the multiplayer Bomberman
okay.
mode. No.
I would have to dig so much stuff out for that. I don't know. I'm not against the idea.
I am.
Could be
Jake
fun.
is less against the idea. I'm not a fan. But also, I only have it on the Xbox 360, and I don't have an Xbox Live account or anything.
Oh, fuck, I don't either.
All right? I'm not even sure how we would play that online.
I don't know. As I recall, you were also vehemently against the idea of Bomberman Act Zero anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas I didn't hate it nearly as much as you did, but I also don't have the affinity for the series that you do.
Yeah, I'm glad that he likes it. And like we've kind of said for all of the games, if there are people, and I know there are people who like Elex, and I know there's people who like a lot of games we play. I am glad that people like these things. Mm-hmm. They can find enjoyment where I can't, because I see just a broken, shitty product that makes me hate it.
Yeah, no, we've said time and time again, no matter what anybody else thinks, you enjoy what you like. Don't let anyone sway you on that.
Because liking something or not liking something is not a sign of it being good or bad. Mm-hmm. But man, oh man, the design decisions behind Elex.
Okay. Do we have any more questions?
No, that's where we're gonna...
Oh, yeah, we've been going for a minute anyway.
Yeah, we've been going for a little while, so we're getting that there. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, things you want to read us to read out loud on this podcast, email thebadgamecast@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of us or get updates on us in any other way, check the Bad Gamecast on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, the Discord, although I'm not sure there's like a search function on Discord. You have to check the links in both
The podcast and YouTube descriptions.
which I was, yep, there's a YouTube account, The Bad Gamecast. Twitch, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. until... Sometimes it's 1 hour because our minds melt. Sometimes it's 5 hours because we're playing something that's like actually fun and engaging. You never know.
Hey, sometimes we do surprise Saturday streams.
Sometimes. There's been more recently, but and then we got busy, and then we didn't get busy, and then it's back and forth. They're surprises.
Yeah,
because
we never commit to a Saturday because we're not always sure if we're doing it till it comes around that we start. So we leave it surprise.
Yep. And then thank you again to all our Patreons.
Yes, a special shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers. You guys fucking rock. Oh, also, if you want to get a hold of me directly, you can hit me up at Jake Prey on Twitter. I almost said at the Bad Gamecast. Jesus.
He's internalized it.
It's, man. Well, for the Bad Gamecast, I've been Jake. Good night, everybody!
I think that about sums it up.
Yeah, it feels right. I like that. I feel like we were both more energetic this one than the one we just recorded. Just because, you know, rage fueled.
This one is just pure rage fuel.
Yeah.
I just shovel coal into that goddamn fire. Just get me going.
Yeah.